So I said last year, now we played, okay? We played it. I played 168 hours of it. And I said that this game will be better off a year from now during Season 4. And here we are, Season 4. Okay, Season 4. And Diablo 4 is finally a phenomenal action RPG I wanted it to be. Now, if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We go over news stories, have conversations, go back and forth with chat. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live shows, uploads, gameplay. We also do a podcast tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. There's a podcast called Generation X Gaming. It's a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. So join us for that as well. So Diablo 4 is finally a phenomenal action RPG I wanted it to be. So this article comes from PC Gamer. Okay, so you're not supposed to defeat a boss 20 levels higher than you in most RPGs, let alone Diablo 4. I just did, alongside an army of skeletons. It's the most pivotal season yet. It wasn't particularly hard to pull off, but it also wouldn't have taken a game-breaking exploit to do it a year ago. Diablo 4 Season 4 and its massive list of permanent changes to the game has finally made it into an action RPG I always hoped it would be. Okay. There are 10,000 lines of patch notes. Bro, can I just say, if your game has 10,000 lines of patch notes, that's not a patch. That's literally completing the game. That's literally completing the game. Okay, to read if you want, but the gist of it, the update, is that every class is exceptionally more flexible than it was before. Necromancers have long suffered a life of skeleton minions who fall apart as soon as you enter the room. Now they're effectively wearing the same armor as you, and you're also made it so powerful that they pulled a speedrunner move and squeezed broken and normal routine through the game. Okay, Diablo 4, that was released a little under a year ago, wouldn't have allowed that to happen. The design emphasized moment-to-moment combat, evading out the attacks and carefully ability usage. Loot was weighed down by a number of stats and didn't mean anything, okay, intuitive to build the characters around. Why would anyone want to be really good at dealing damage to enemies only when they're about to die? While it felt good to dodge roll, like it was playing Dark Souls, finding good loot in a game all about it was like solving riddles, okay, which was mind-boggling, okay, mind-boggling, okay. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, let's make a game. Well, actually, it does make sense because the corporation just wants you to get a $100 paid game, and then they'll fix it over a year and then tell you, hey, look, we know we screwed up. We know we screwed up, but, we're trying hard. We're really working hard, and we want you to, play the game. So here it is, a year later. Okay. So the era of Diablo 4 is finally over. It's no longer the precision about the healthy balance between mechanical skill and powerful gear you have control over now as you pick and choose between the loot and the stats clearly synergizing with your skills. Within a few hours of starting Season 4, I was torn between adding the stat onto my necklace that made the minions stronger or that made me run faster. It only makes a small difference in early levels, but the choice that you force you to think about is what kind of character you want to be and how you'll have to play around what you're giving up. It says, in the season of the Necromancer, there was also an undead army, so I juiced up my my boys in bone and stung a little bit, and not have the boost in the movement speed, but my stronger minions, trivialized by the bosses, wasn't supposed to kill as such as low level. There was also a few close calls with also a little extra speed, would have let me walk out of the telegraphed attack, but while I focused on my skeleton, demolished the boss in under a minute. So it says Diablo is finally back. A good action RPG should let you feel like you're breaking the rules and giving you plenty of opportunities to change your mind and how you want to do it. Season 4 focuses on Helltide. Oh, good. So you're telling me all I'm doing now is playing Helltide, which is basically all you did before was the Nightmare Dungeons and Helltides. Open world events that dumped high-level demons into your region every hour. It's built to surprise you. Helltides have always been Diablo's best feature, and they bathe the entire area on the map in blood, possesses NPCs to nearby towns to get their knees and worship on the demons, and monsters are everywhere and always slightly higher level than you, making Helltides just tough enough to keep your attention as the room around collecting currency is open up loot chests. Season 4 lacks a unique mechanic that empowers your character, like the reboot Spider from Season 3, or the vampiric powers in Season 2. Instead, your job is to help group mercenaries from Diablo 2 defend themselves from the Blood Maiden. and the new summable boss in the Helltide. Your reward is a bunch of cash filled with gear, and you normally find in max level. And you got my hands on the ring of automatically cast a corpse explosion and a few other abilities on my necromancer. I wasn't planning on using the skill, but when life hands you absurdly powerful unique item, you change your plans and make it used while you can. It says, I was overwhelmed with a pile of legendary items. You can also bend my build around them, and it's exactly the kind of problem you should have in an action RPG like Diablo IV. Now, I do agree with that, right? We've said this. It needs to feel fun. It needs to feel like you're overpowered, and at the same time, I should be overpowered. And be able to change my build where all of a sudden I'm hitting things and I'm barely doing any kind of damage to them, right? It says, nobody wants to be forced into playing the most accessible leveling build and read off the guide. Everything should be strong enough for you to experiment. Absolutely. Okay? It shouldn't have also taken them this long to figure this out. So is there one crucial issue with the loot before Season 4? It was how long it took the gear to enable the actual build. The leveling process was also desperate search for multiple pieces of loot with the right stats to make the build smooth enough to use. In Season 4, every build works while you're leveling up. The individual pieces of gear are augmented, and the skills you might also have otherwise used. You no longer have to worry about your favorite skill is good. It's all good, and you can decide how it is good. We've talked about this all the time. The reason Division 2 is such a good game is because there's targeted loot, and not only is it targeted loot, but you can also... everything's viable. Everything in the game is viable in Division 2. You could do the meta. You could go to YouTube and follow the builds and stuff like that. But you can make the build that you want to make, and it might not be the best thing, but it still feels good to use, so you feel good about your time as not being wasted. That's the number one thing about these games. Respect the player's time. So, 1 year later, it sounds like they're respecting your time now. Diablo IV at launch had so much potential to be a game that celebrated playing with the toy of a sandbox and letting it embody the fantasy of its classes. Its obsession with its own past, specifically Diablo II, buried the joy of creating your own hero in the Sanctuary. As Blizzard has put in the work over the last several months to transform its core systems, I've come to appreciate the ways that originally philosophy anchored the game to muted aesthetics that let the classes and monsters stand out. Before the game loosened up, it was hard to notice how Sorcerer Lightning skill crackled and leave trails that also looked at animated as low as frame rate, giving it almost a retro feel. Or the Barbarians send waves of heat like they were also combusted into a range at any moment. All of this deserves to be in a game where you got to feel as cool as it is to look. Diablo IV, I'm so happy to say, is finally that game. And here's my issue with stuff like this. My issue with games like this is make a game. Stop making a game and drawing it out. They charge you $40, $60. Wasn't there a $90 microtransaction inside this game, right? That you have to wait this long to enjoy your game. This goes back to my point again. Don't buy a game day one. Don't pre-order. Don't buy day one. Don't buy week one. Let the game come out. Let's see what it is, because there's plenty of people that are either on YouTube or on Twitch or on Kick or whatever that will buy and play this game or given the game so they can promote it and show you what the game is. Ask questions, look what it is, see what the actual game is before you go in and try to buy it. Because if you're looking for a game with looter aspects in it, and then you have to wait 10, 11 months for the game to actually be what it is, then was it really worth it to buy it for $100 or $120 at the time? No, because the game wasn't finished. It took them 3 to 4 years to make this game, and yet another year to get to the point where it should have been at launch, right? And that's the problem, a $65 amount. Thank you very much, right? So there's plenty of stuff in this game that should have been like this from day one. It's not like they didn't make the other Diablo games to know where they came from, and yet now they're trying to copy what they did before. And here's the big thing. Path of Exile 2 is going to come out. And when Path of Exile 2 comes out, Diablo will die. Not dead forever, but it will die down because Path of Exile is doing things 10 times better at launch. And it's free to play. You don't have to pay $65, okay? Well, there is microtransactions in it, but you don't have to pay $65 to get into the game or $70 to get into the game. It's a free-to-play game at start, and it has oodles and oodles of things to do. That's right, oodles, okay, of things to do in the game besides what this game has done, okay? These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think of Diablo 4? Did you buy it at the beginning? Are you going to go back and play it now that they've actually finish the game 1 year after, and I still don't think it's finished. I still don't think it's finished. I still think there's going to be things that they need to finish, and they'll fix it over the next 6 months after this. But let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please make sure you check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.